Hello, I'm Sutoni. I'm joined by BRJ again, and we've got Team Pretty versus Team Footwork here. Both Team Pretty and Team Footwork, I believe, are both in the losers bracket right now. They both, well, they're in the major league, but they both lost both of their games so far. So they, whatever team wins this, they desperately want to win this because if they don't want to get relegated to the minor league for the second season, if they choose to compete again, they definitely want to win this to make sure they can keep fourth or place or higher.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely an interesting win. They're also really close on match points difference as well, which is what we record the points scored in each match, just so that if teams are on the same number of league points at the end of the league, we determine their position based on the match points difference. There's only 1 point match difference between them, so they've not had a great run so far, either of these teams. Team Footwork favouring, they went for a shield setup in their first match, and an all drone setup against Tuskers that didn't really work out for them in the second setup. And Team Pretty have gone for armor both times with the Execra picks, and surprisingly not done that well with them. People expected Execra picks to be strong, but haven't been so far. So the teams are just about to start now. We've got Lady Arian, team captain, Team Pretty, and Cyrix, team captain of. Lady Aaron, team captain of Footwork, and Cyrix, team captain of Pretty. So Pretty batting out the rock. Very strong in the first major league episode, picked by the other team, Hoodie Mafia's team. They pulled off a blinding win with the Rock. So Team Pretty batting that out, and Footwork batting out the Ravens. So both teams probably not wanting to face shield setups, which is going to be interesting now. So they're probably both going to end up with armor logistics unless Footwork bans one of them out, which is going to put Pretty in a tricky situation. So Pretty have banned Blackbird, interestingly. I'm going to guess Footwork are going to go for an Augur or Execra ban.
Yeah, Footwork are probably going to force them into shield. It's kind of interesting that on the red team, Team Pretty, they decided to ban the Rogue, which would be one of the decent options if the Raven and the Tempest are not available.
I know, I honestly thought Farfeet Commander was going to go for the Rogue for the last match. The Typhoon can go fast, but it can't project damage, whereas the Rogue can tank a shit ton and do damage, so it can kind of like just sit in the other team's way and just be a nuisance, really. So that's kind of what I figured that Starfleet might have gone for, but no, you went for the Typhoon. It didn't work out for them, unfortunately, even though I'm a big Typhoon fan. So yeah, Footwork banning out the Augur. They're going to end up probably with the Execra, which means Team Pretty might have to go with the kind of like a rush or no logi rush setup here. It'll be interesting to see what they pick. So Team Pretty just about to pick its first frigate pick here, and we'll see what it's going to be.
Yeah, Pretty has, I believe they've gone armor both times, so we're not sure what kind of shield setup they would favor at the moment.
There we
Going
go.
for the Vigil, safe pick, I guess.
Yeah, safe pick. It works with anything really, armor or shield really. Even though it has got a shield tank, it can kind of hang back and kind of use that target painter at far range in an armor setup. So they can wait to see what Footwork are going to do here with their Punisher and destroy pick. Footwork going for the solid tackler of the Punisher, that huge EHP buffer for the frigate tackler. Not the fastest frigate, but it can tank like crazy. And it's been pretty successful so far.
I expect Pretty to probably pick up either the Corex or the Tower here for the Shield Destroyer.
Yeah, usually Tower for shield setups just because it's pretty fast and it can shoot a long way. But no, they go for the Corax, which is similar to the Tower. It's got a little bit more EHP, but not quite as much range, I believe. If I remember off the top of my head, Saturnia probably more.
Oh, they have the same range. The Corax is a lot slower than the Tower, but it does have an application bonus. Although with the Vigil, I'm not sure they would need it for light missiles. But...
It'd be very good at taking out drones, though, which the Vigil won't want to waste its painter on, with the application bonus taking out light drones, possibly. Team Footwork locking in the Execra there, so they've got like a very typical Punisher Argos Execra support wing, and Team Pretty going for the Caracal. So a kind of like kiting missile shield setup on Team Pretty side, and Footwork going for, and they're banning out the APOC, which is kind of curious to me because I would have thought that probably would have been their favorite battleship pick. So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to pick up for their battleship.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I'm not sure what Team Pretty are going to ban. I guess Harbinger is still available. Oracle is still available. Both of those are pretty contested battle cruiser bans. You could also ban the Hyperion, which is also another popular ban. or the Abaddon.
They're bringing out the Armageddon. That's pretty sensible, I think. The Armageddon can actually project DPS with drones and the cruise missiles fairly well. They're going to get rid of that. Footwork locking in the Oracle, so pretty kind of putting themselves into a dangerous position here. Footwork have got the Oracle, they have got the Executor, kind of very good, solid tournament setups here. Team Pretty going for a Naga though. That visual makes sense now.
Naga, please, I think.
Yeah, and they followed up by Hyperion, so they've got a mixed tank set up. They've just gone for really strong ships, really not worried too much about the tank. They're going to rely heavily on piloting, I presume. The Caracal is going to do brilliantly against support, brilliantly against drones. It's going to give the Punisher and the Argos a really tough time, as well as be able to apply perfect damage to any of the other three ships. The Naga can snipe out a very long distance, so it will be able to protect damage very far across the field. Given that Team Footwork haven't got any fast tacklers, that Naga might get quite a lot of freedom to do a lot of damage.
Dominic's picked up by Team Footwork. It's kind of interesting. I maybe would have thought the Abaddon would be maybe a better pick here with the Mega Beams, because they do have that Naga that you want to. Well, I guess the Oracle does kind of contest it, but you probably would want the Abaddon there too. But the Dominics is still a pretty solid setup. I think the Dominics is really strong at countering ECM teams or drone-based teams, and Team Pretty isn't either of those. So it's kind of a bit weird, I think. But I guess Team Footwork really love drones.
Yeah, they went for an all drone setup last time, which would, yeah, possibly. It's got a smart bomb and it's got two heavy nukes that Dominix. So against the Hyperion, those nukes are going to be super useful if the Hyperion gets too close and be able to make the Hyperion, really work for its capacitor. So that's possibly why they've gone for Dominix. It's got a smart bomb to stop incoming enemy drones, of course, and it's got two drone link augmenters, so it can actually with sentry drones hit very far, which is going to give the Caracal and the Vigil a headache, I think. So, yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. First time we've seen the Dominix pick, so it'll be interesting to see how well that does. And whether or not another battleship will come into the meta. Let's go back to APOS. Hopefully, the match will be starting fairly soon.
Awesome. So pretty cool setups here, very different from the last match. We do have the Hyperion repeated again. We're seeing the Domi pick, which is super interesting. We've got the Naga versus the Oracle. Now, Suetonia, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Naga versus the Oracle as battle cruiser choices.
I think the
both
Oracle
tier
is
3s,
better in
sorry.
every way. The Oracle has more HP, the Oracle has more damage, the Oracle has better tracking. It has very similar ranges to the Railgun Naga. I guess the Railgun Naga can shoot further, but I don't think that's relevant in the arena a lot of the time. So I think the Oracle is almost better in almost every way.
Would you have chosen the Naga given the setup they were going for? Or would you have chosen something else?
I don't know, it's hard to pick, I guess, because they don't have a Logi. You kind of want a battle cruiser that can do a lot of damage independently, because the only way you're going to win is if you kill the extra. So I mean, the Drake was available. I guess that could be pretty good. We've actually seen it. I think it was Volta team with the Roke and the Drake just ram and kill an extra with the Drake's web, and then the Rogue's grappler. So yeah, I'm not sure what other battle cruise. I mean, the Hurricane's been a solid pick up for kiting teams because of the artillery is pretty good at making the Logi work really hard, especially when you have the Algus there, which is kind of squishy, and you can maybe put pressure on the Execute with the Hurricane too. So I'm not sure. I really don't like the Naga though. It doesn't have a cap injector too, so if it has to burn a lot from that Punisher, it's gonna end up capping itself out. So I'm not a big fan of the Naga.
I don't know. I think the Naga will do quite well, really, because it can project out. It can project a lot further than any of the Footwork, possibly except for Dominic's DPS. So he can sit quite far away from Team Footwork and not worry too much about having to tank or move that much. If it loads spike, it will be able to hit anywhere on the arena pretty much as long as it can lock, which is very far, a very long distance. Like what you're talking about, other options that it could have gone for. Ferox, possibly. We haven't seen a Ferox yet, which kind of surprises me because it's got an XL ASB, a large extra large ancillary shield booster, should I say, and it's got two tackle, and it's got quite a decent amount of DPS as well as a NOS. And the Hyperion's got a large drone base that could have put shield bots on it. I don't know. I'm just looking at the options here. I don't think Naga is a terrible pick. But yeah, I think Oracle is definitely the superior ship here.
Awesome. Madden, how do you think this game is going to compare to the last one, given the drafting?
Well, last match we had two teams with Logi, and this time we have one team with what is about as classic a setup as you can come up with in this tournament format. You got the Punisher, Algos, Execure, Logi, Oracle, Dami. I mean, you know exactly what you're going to get from Footwork. There's zero chance of surprises. And then Pretty's brought like a combination effect. We saw a lot of visual clerical core X's before. That's not that surprising. A little bit tankier. Some good damage, but obviously no Logi, so they're all at risk. And then they brought a Naga, which is, as Sutonia made pretty clear, it's just worse than an Oracle. It's like you brought an Oracle, but it's not as good as the Oracle, and that's true in I'm essentially every way possible. And then the Hyperion, which is amazing if it gets in your face, and if it doesn't, it's terrible. Um, I I think Footwork's gonna win if they play their cards right and don't go anywhere near Pretty. I don't think the Caracal and the Core X are gonna be able to do that much. But at the same time, if a Punisher, an Algos, or an Execute just happens to explode because the Naga and the Caracal did a great job, they could easily take this. It could kind of go either way, but it's going to be interesting to see what Pretty does. I think that's where my focus is going to be because that's where the opportunities are.
Awesome. We're going to get the teams shipped in as soon as we can. They're just starting to bump up into local and system, I think. But before we go to that, Rain, I want to ask you, you're very excited to talk about the prizes that we've been giving out for the past two tournaments. Last tournament, it was a special Typhoon skin. This year, it's a special APOC skin. Do you want to tell us of your love for ship skins?
Yeah, normally on Tranquility, like you have some really good ship skins. I think the CB skin is good, Blue Tiger, Rata Sunset. A lot of the Amar skins generally look pretty good as well. So I think it kind of shows the support CCP has for player-run tournaments when they, obviously, we're not going to get anything like an Alliance tournament ship to hand out, but something such as like a ship skin, and not just any ship skin, but a unique, like our own ship skin, like by our own I mean like player ship skin. I think that's really, really helpful to kind of show their support as well as like kind of give these players who, they don't really buy in, but they honestly have to dedicate. I think they have to put some like a Plex deposit in to kind of like hold them to their honor to coming to these tournaments and like showing a good fight. And then they're also, putting in the time and effort to practice, etc., etc. Because obviously these aren't just random people who show up like hungover on a Sunday just to fight it out. These people actually dedicate a lot of time. And CCP kind of giving back to the players, giving back to the community in the way of ship skins. And then not only that, but like these ship skins actually look really good. Like sometimes like ship skins can look kind of, I don't want to say boring, but they can kind of look like less enthusiastic. Like I'm kind of less enthusiastic about some than others. And these ones I'm really excited for because they look really well done and they're unique to the players. And so I think just showing that, and then I think they gave in kind of like the lore reference because they're obviously the independent gaming company IGC, which is also the same corporation in game, which in the lore runs the Alliance tournament. So that kind of shout out I think is really great on CCP's part and shows their support to the players. And so I don't know if Equalizer is able to show it on screen, but the skins look really nice, and that's kind of where we have our color theme from.
Awesome. So the teams are landing on grid as I speak now. So let's run down the list, going through our predictions. Bay the Bay Art J, who do you think is going to win this match?
I have to cheer for Team Footwork here. Well, most of these guys are my corporation, so I think they've got a pretty solid setup in front of them. I think they should be able to win it, provided Team Pretty don't fly the hell out of them.
What about you, Rain? Footwork or Pretty?
I think I'm cheering for Footwork too. I like their setup. It's very traditional, so it might seem kind of boring, but I think it's a pretty solid setup.
Madden?
I'm going to root for Pretty here, just because I think it'll be more fun if they win.
Okay, and Sutonia.
I think it'll be more fun if Pretty wins, but I think Footwork are going to take this.
Awesome. So after this match, we're going to be giving away the ship skin. So do make sure you stick around and pay attention because I will be coming up with a keyword during this match for a question for you guys to answer to win one of our sexy ship skins. We have the teams landing now on grid. This is going to be match 2 between Team Pretty and Team Footwork in the Major League of the second season of Event Tournament. So let's hand it over to your wonderful casters for the evening. Once again, it is the amazing Rain and the magnificent Mr. Madden.
Welcome back. I'm Rain, and I'm joined by Madden, and I will introduce Team Pretty, who bought the no Logi setup of a Hyperion, Naga, Caracal, Corax, and Vigil.
Madden here to introduce Team Footwork, who bought the classical Dominix, Oracle, Execure, Algos, Punisher. No surprises, but a standard that's there for a reason. So, Rain, go ahead.
I was going to say, Team Pretty actually warped in at 70, and then Team Footwork warped in around 40-ish. And if you look, they're actually, it looks like kind of a 90-degree angle from the center, so they're closer. It seems like initially with just those numbers, they're actually pretty close, or pretty far, but they're actually super close to each other. The match is now started.
That max warp in of 50 for PFR is definitely going to, or for Pretty, is going to put them in an interesting opportunity. See if Logi, Lydiarian taking a big hit. That goes all for shields, and sheer armor is taking damage.
Yeah, so she's going to have to actually manage that, get some transversal going to try and mitigate that DPS. Obviously, you can't get transversal from a Caracal, but she has to do something to kind of get away that DPS and keep herself up. She does have light maintenance bots on her, so while those were lacking last match, she does have some sort of rep and some support from her teammates.
Yeah, but this is essentially deciding the match. The Caracal is taking a ton of damage, but if that Execure dies for that Caracal, that's a great trade. And so this is the best possible usage they could say. They're going to take, and there goes the Execure before the Caracal goes down, but now the Caracal is essentially absolutely, the Caracal down almost same time. But Execure for Caracal, that's a great trade. They have a really good chance here. Without that Logi on the field, Pretty is Team Footwork is much more vulnerable. That Punisher's probably going to go down next, and that Dami still has a chance. As now, well, the Corax is dying too, so they're going to drop a bit quicker.
Yeah, Corax was immediately off the field, and now they're primarying the Naga. So even though Team Footwork did lose their Logi, they might kind of seem down and out, but they haven't given up hope yet.
No, they're definitely not down and out, no doubt about it. I mean, if this Hyperion can kill the Dami, it's going to be really hard to kill the Hyperion, but there's definitely a great chance that Naga's definitely gonna die. So they're gonna have 4v2. That's scary. That's very scary if you're Team Pretty right now. 4v2, but that Hyperion is strong.
Yeah, so the Hyperion and the Dominix are actually sitting on top of each other, and it looks like there were some maintenance bots out, or maybe not. There were some bots, but the Dominix has actually smart bombed them all away, and he's slowly getting picked away at by the Hyperion. Although now that the Hyperion's kind of left on his own with just a Vigil, he's being primaried next.
Yeah, but the Hyperion is super duper tanky, so he's going to kill the Dami, and then he's probably going to try and kill the Oracle. And if he can kill the Dami, and he can kill the Oracle, he's probably going to win. So it's just a matter of the race is on versus the super awesomely tanked Hyperion with blasters. It's got to kill this Dami really fast. Dami needs to die right now. Like every second this Dami alive. All right, Dami goes down, but this Oracle is going to produce a ton of DPS. Algos Punisher producing a solid amount as well. So it's really up to this Hyperion to say what can he catch, because he's short range. He's got to be on top of you.
It's interesting though, like the Oracle, can do pretty well from a decent range, and he's actually super close to this Hyperion, who has a local rep and is repping himself back up.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the concerns that I had is, can an Oracle and an Algos break the Hyperion's reps? Probably not, actually, but maybe he'll run out.
Well, if this Oracle gets caught by the Hyperion,
well, no, it's being caught by the Vigil, I think.
Oh, is the Vigil webbing?
Web, yeah.
Oh, okay.
At least I would hope so. If he's getting caught by the Hyperion, he's really bad at this game.
No, yeah, I don't see the web on him. Oh, well, does the Hyperion have a...
Oh, yeah.
one of those
He's being grappled. He's got to grapple. Oh, that's just...
Oh my god.
There goes the Vigil. Yeah, he just got popped. That's what happened to the Vigils.
So, but this Hyperion, like, he has the grapple, but I mean, that doesn't mean it's fully being used, but he's still just whittling away at this Oracle.
Yeah, you can see him slowing down a little bit, kind of on and off, as he because the grappler has like a different effect of how far away he is. But as long as he's getting further and further away, which he is, the grappler will have less and less of an effect. So essentially, this is a race. Oracle going faster versus Hyperion trying to explode it. I think the Oracle's going to win now, though.
Yeah, it looks like he is overheating, maybe. I don't know, going max.
Oh my!
with his
How is?
MWD.
I'm shocked
He's
the
dying,
Hyperion's
though,
still
like the
hitting him.
Hyperion.
That was. I'm shocked it did
Hyperion
damage at that
killed the
range.
Oracle.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Like, how did that happen? And not
Well,
only that, but
transversal is how it happened because he was just going straight in the
yeah,
line.
but like, how did he get so close to get caught by? Like, he was grappled, and now this Algos and Punisher were going to save the Oracle, and they both have gotten caught, or they initially got caught. I thought the Algos had a grappler on him, but apparently not anymore.
No, well, the grappler technically can be used, I think, at least at 20 kilometers, but after that, I don't think it has any actual effect. So it just looks like it's just a pretty mod that's on the screen essentially after that. But for a long time, it was keeping that Oracle basically below or right around 1k a second, and at that speed, which the Hyperion's maxing out around 920, essentially it meant that it could keep applying its DPS on that Oracle, who was then going in a straight line, just trying to burn away. And so that actually made it a little bit easier for the Hyperion to take him down. And with just an Algos and the Punisher on the field, I think Sirik is essentially just gonna solo this entire match. He had some help at the beginning, but now it's just up to him.
Yeah. He's using infiltrators, I believe it's infiltrators, to actually shoot this Algos, and the infiltrators are actually dying. This Punisher and Algos are trying to get rid of them as quickly as they can.
Do you think that maybe it was the infiltrators that actually finished the Oracle? That would actually make some sense. It was just like keeping himself in drone control range or something.
He killed the Algos, and now he's going to finish off this Punisher. Normally, battleships can't. Usually, like, if all their support dies, like, you shouldn't be able just to, like, get caught by, especially a Hyperion. And this Sirik's actually doing really well at utilizing his drones and just burning after them.
This isn't even drones. He's just straight up shooting the Punisher. This is pretty, like, if this was, like, solo PvP, I'd just be, like, only, like, an entire group of 5 people or 4 people decimated by one Hyperion battleship. Like, I just can't even imagine that. We're seeing good fights in local. I think the Punisher has accepted his fate, more or less. This is just craziness that Sirik and the Hyperion just, like, noped the entire team for Footwork after that initial Execure went down.
I thought Footwork would have, like, held their own better, but apparently not. So these warriors are actually on destroying the Punisher.
Yeah, and I think, that's one of the kind of sneaky surprises. Like, when you have a classical team that looks better and has performed better, a lot of the time it just comes down to piloting, DPS choices, a little bit of luck of the draw. I mean, they just knocked down that Execure and he didn't have a chance. And a lot of that came down to warping ranges. One team warped in at 50, another team warped in at 30, and that equaled death for one of these teams, and you don't know that until it happens. And just goes to show, look, Naga versus Oracle, I think that was a clear match. But Hyperion versus Dominix, at the end of the day, Hyperion won it hands down. And the fact that they had that on grid, the fact that it wasn't banned, that led to this decision, that victory.
And with that, Team Pretty wins, and we'll send it back to Apoth in the studio.